May 10th, 2021 is now in session. Would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good morning, everyone. I'm Gary Merrill, President of the Board this year. To my left is Vice President Commissioner Barb Lewis. And to her left is Commissioner Jeff Benton, and our Administrator Mike Frumper is with us today, as our two clerks are Sarah and Jennifer. Let's begin.
Resolution number 21-382, in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held May 6, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 21-382. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-383, in the matter of approving purchase orders and announced certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 0507.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 21-383. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
I do believe that it is the wish of our president of the board to address our other business right now. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do that
Okay.
now.
We
Other
have-
business, George Kites, I believe you got something to share with us.
Good morning, Commissioners. George Kaitza, Delaware County Auditor, and yes, I do have some very wonderful news to share with all of you. First of all, as all of you know, Moody's surveillance, their annual surveillance of Delaware County, is really a report card on Delaware County's economy and on Delaware County's management. And I'm so pleased to report that they have reaffirmed our AAA credit rating and our economic outlook as being stable. They identified several key factors, including the strong financial position of the county, particularly the growth in the general fund balance, strong wealth, income, and the extensive tax base. Our current market value of all the real estate in Delaware County is now $23 billion. And they also referenced a light debt burden or a low debt burden. Of the 9 credit parameters that Moody's looks at that are monitored annually, 4 of those parameters improved and 5 of the parameters remain stable. So I think this is really wonderful news for Delaware County. They did not see any immediate material credit risks. And of course they mentioned the fact that there's a moderate pension obligation, but we all know that in Ohio the pension obligation is really the responsibility of the retirement systems. So I also wanted to report on the Delaware County sewer bonds. And Moody's again reaffirmed the an AA1 rating for the sewer bonds. The only reason that wouldn't be a AAA is because those are revenue bonds and there is no taxes pledged. So it's all based on revenues. As we all know, however, Standard & Poor's has given us a AAA on our revenue, on our sewer bonds. I want to read one quote that I think is particularly telling. One quote is that the sewer district is in a very high quality credit position. And they reference several key credit factors: a wealthy service area, modestly sized system, ample liquidity, small debt profile, and strong debt service coverage. And of the 5 credit parameters, 2 of the parameters were moved up to improved, and 3 of the parameters remain stable. And I want to close with a quote again from the report, and that is, "The financial position of the Delaware County Sewer is superlative." I don't think we could ask for anything more than that.
Right.
So with that, I'm so pleased to present that report to all of you.
You probably won't know this, George, but how do we rank nationally? Would you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I believe, I'm trying to remember, I think in terms of counties, there are only maybe 30 to 30-some counties that have have 2 AAA credit ratings, one both from Moody's as well as Standard & Poor's. So that really puts us into a really elite ranking because there are about 3,200 counties nationwide. So we're in the top 30. And also I want to mention that as far as I know, certainly in Ohio, we're the only county that has 3 AAAs from the standpoint that we have the 2 AAAs for our general fund, but then we also have a AAA for our sewer bonds. So I don't think there's any other county that could make that statement.
Yeah, with COVID, I was just wondering, did some counties drop out or not? But
They
you
do.
but you probably don't know for sure yet.
Yeah,
exactly
but
where
no,
that
no, I don't. But I think that's really, I mean, the fact that we're in a group of 30-some out of 3,000 says a lot about the credit quality and the management of Delaware County.
falls. Math is right, it's top 1%, that's pretty good.
Yep.
Yes.
Commissioner Benton, you have anything you want to add?
Really can't add a whole lot. That is outstanding news. The rare triple. We're one of a handful of counties in the country probably that have that distinction.
Yep.
That's very unusual. And again, I think the Moody's, these rating agencies are experts at public debt, public governance, and to get a AAA rating from both firms who employ experts in this field is phenomenal. I liked all our trends. All our trends over the last 5 years have been very positive, very good. We do have low debt exposure at this point for a county our size. We've been putting reserves aside, and again, I think it's a real testament to this county that in this last year, as we went through COVID, we came out, if not equally strong, maybe a little stronger.
I agree,
from the
Commissioner.
debt rating agency's standpoint. So that's a real testament to the leadership of Delaware County, everyone involved.
That's what I was thinking too with COVID, and to have these ratings on top of that. And just like to thank you, Auditor Keitsa, for all your hard work and diligence, and other office holders too, and it's phenomenal. And thank you so much for presenting today.
No, it's my pleasure to provide this report, or these 2 reports to you.
What a great report.
And again, thank you for that opportunity.
So I just want to add I think we as commissioners work very, very hard to make sure with your office and all the other electeds to make sure that we are fiscally responsible. And I think this says a lot about everybody that's involved, the electeds as well as the employees in the county that work very hard to make this work. And that's a compliment to all of us. Regarding the sewer, the word superlative that's a fantastic word. We need to find that in some of our literature. And sewer, unlike our responsibility, is a little different responsibility we as commissioners have, because not everybody in the county is in the sewer district. And not only do we have a superlative perspective on that, our sewer fees are very reasonable compared to a lot of other places, and that says a lot about how we managed it. And I think kudos to Mike Fromer and Tiffany Mag for their leadership in the sewer department, as well as those who preceded all of us. It's made that possible today, so just wanted to shout out to everybody.
No, thank you very much. And as you know, all of you have said, during a pandemic, to have several of our credit metrics actually go into the improved category, all of the others remaining stable, I think that's just absolutely wonderful news for Delaware County and Delaware County's leadership.
Thank you, George.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, George.
Resolution number 21-384, in the matter of approving a new liquor license request from Oasis Speech LLC and forwarding to the Ohio Division of Liquor Control with no objections and no request for a hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 21-384. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-385, in the matter of proclaiming May 2021 Older Americans Month in Delaware County.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. I believe we have somebody here from Sourcepoint to share her thoughts with us.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning.
Farrah, introduce yourself for the record.
Yes, I am Farrah Waugh. I am the Executive Director of Sourcepoint. I have the very pleasure to serve Sourcepoint and the older adults of Delaware County. So each May, the Administration for Community Livings leads the celebration of Older Americans Month. This year's theme is Communities of Strength, recognizing the important role older adults play in fostering the connection and engagement that creates strong, resilient communities. In Delaware County, we have more than 50,000 residents aged 55 and older, and through their experiences, successes, as well as challenges, they have built resilience that helps them face new challenges. And in the past year, during a worldwide pandemic, these residents have proven to be a key source of strength for us all. When people of different ages, abilities, backgrounds, and talents share experiences, we build strong communities. This month and beyond, we invite everyone to celebrate the tens of thousands of older adults in Delaware County who strengthen ours and make our community a better place to live. So I thank the commissioners for entertaining this proclamation, and I'm open to answer any questions that you might have.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to read the proclamation, and then we'll get a photo, and then I'm going to ask you to make some comments about Sourcepoint and where we stand. Is that reasonable?
Okay, great.
This is a resolution that we will be voting on in just a moment. Whereas Delaware County includes a growing number of older Americans who have built resilience and strength over their lives through success and difficulties. And whereas Delaware County benefits when people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds are included and encouraged to share their successes and stories of resilience. And whereas Delaware County recognizes our need to nurture ourselves, reinforce our strength, and continue to thrive in times of both joy and difficulty. And whereas Delaware County can foster communities of strength by creating opportunities to share stories and learn from each other, engaging older adults through education, recreation, and service, and encouraging people of all ages to celebrate connections and resilience. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Delaware County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim May 2021 to be Older Americans Month. The Delaware County Board of Commissioners urge every resident to recognize older adults and the people who support them as essential members of our community. With that, Commissioner Benton, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I was going to ask Farrah to just talk about how Sourcepoint is coming along just with the programs in the center and so on, but
we'll do that once we get this approved.
Yeah. I think the only thing I would add is Sourcepoint is a huge part of this community. It's very well supported. The levies passed very, very nicely. It's a very busy place. You know, we've all been there a whole bunch of times. It's just really neat to see it. And I think Commissioner Merrill has a pool table named after
Yes.
I knew he was going to have to do. I knew he couldn't help himself.
But no, again, it's great to see, and I'm anxious to see or hear how things are progressing through this as we come out of this pandemic. So, turn it over to Commissioner Lewis.
No, Sourcepoint's a wonderful focal point for the community, and you help so many people. And I'm going to have you, when we come to our questions, to explain a little bit about what you're doing on the housing front for people, because I didn't realize it until I was on a call with our housing coalition of all you're doing. So,
Yeah, I'd just like to add, yes, I do miss the pool tables. I've been there in over a year now.
We miss you. We miss you.
Well, because I don't think the tables have been open, have they?
Yeah, just not too long ago they
we'll talk about
reopened.
that.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing we need to keep in mind, Sourcepoint, a lot of the seniors who are members there also play important roles in our county. They serve on boards, they participate in so many ways, they add so much to our county. And the Meals Wheels program is an excellent example of a lot of volunteers who make that program work for those who may not be able to get out and about like we all enjoy doing. And it's a fantastic resource for our county, and a lot of really good people who make it happen, participate, and also serve important roles in our community. So,
Yes.
And I think that's as good a reason as any to celebrate this month.
Agreed.
With that, let's get a vote.
Vote on motion 21-385. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye. Now let's get a photo.
Thank you. All right. 1, 2, 3. Come on, speak one more this way. Great, thank you.
Okay, I think both Commissioner Benton and Commissioner Lewis want you to comment anyway, so it worked out perfectly here. So give us an update, answer their questions. I know Commissioner Lewis had a specific question, and just where we stand with Sourcepoint.
Okay. Yes, so where we are today, we were very excited about the news that we received last week that the health orders have been modified and some of the restrictions have been lifted that we have been pleading for, quite honestly. And one of those being, staff members as well as volunteers that are working in the building have been required to be tested every 2 weeks. And this has placed a significant burden on our organization. We've had a number of volunteers that we've lost as that has been a requirement. And so now we're able, especially now that more individuals are vaccinated, we're able to proceed without that restriction and that requirement. So that's exciting. We're also able to lift the restriction on the number of individuals in certain classes. Unfortunately, our aquatics classes, which are very popular classes, those remain. We have to continue to keep those the size that they are, but many of our other classes, our rooms are big enough to accommodate more people, even providing 12 feet of distance for exercise classes because they don't wear masks while they're exercising. But because we were limited to 10 people, we weren't able to accommodate any more than that. So we'll be expanding those class sizes. We have added evening hours as well as Saturday morning. We're now open again until noon on Saturdays, so we're excited about that too. So things are starting to move closer to normal again, and the staff is really excited. I think we'll be seeing some more of our volunteers return because we rely heavily, as Commissioner Merrill mentioned, we rely heavily on our volunteers, particularly with our meals program, as well as volunteer transportation. And so we're really excited that we'll be able to welcome more volunteers back into the building and help us to continue to produce our meals. So yes.
Okay, Commissioner, you had a specific question.
Sure. I learned a lot about what you were doing on the housing front, and if you could explain a little bit about that would be great.
Yes. So housing for seniors is a critical need. There are some core services and supports that are important for seniors, and transportation, as you know, is one of them, and housing is another core service, affordable housing and accessible housing as well. So part of what we're doing is in correlation with the age-friendly communities, which is a partnership that we sought from the commissioners several years ago. We've created an action plan, and we're working with various townships and various housing organizations to try to create more affordable and accessible housing for older adults, as well as providing supportive resources within senior housing communities. Even today, we have one of our care consultants that is assigned to Ashley Villa is one of the communities where we're supporting seniors in their housing, as well as Georgetown is another facility that we're helping to support. And so a number of the initiatives that we're trying to work with the community on in order to expand those housing options available for seniors. I don't know if there was anything in particular that you were.
Do you have a study too that you're doing?
Yes.
That,
well,
believe?
we did with part of the age-friendly, as well as the, we're working with the Powell City, City of Powell in exploring, but that's more about a community medical and wellness facility. But I'm trying to think of which resource that, or which study that might be, the assessment that, and I can't think.
Well, I
off the
know
top
you're
of my head.
working with our housing coalition too,
Yes.
countywide, in addition to everything else you're doing.
Yes.
So, and that's been a real valuable resource, so.
Yes, yeah.
To us, so thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Just to
it.
clarify, what are your hours during the week and on Saturdays now?
We are open Monday, and Wednesday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Thank you.
8 a.m. to 5, Tuesday and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 7, and Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon.
Can you repeat that, because it won't be on the record from where she was saying.
Okay, yes. Monday and Wednesday, we're open from 8 until 7, and, 8 until 5, Tuesday and Thursday, 8 until 7, and Friday, 8 until 5, and Saturdays, 8 until noon. Did I get it right?
I didn't mean to push you on
We
the
just,
spot.
no, that's okay, we just changed, and we're going to be expanding those Monday, Wednesday hours June 1st, so it's,
Oh, wow.
you know, I had to think about, when is that coming? Because we've done this in incremental phases, so yes,
Are the
sorry.
members coming back pretty quickly when they learn of this, or has it been a slow return?
I would say it's been a fairly steady flow. They haven't, you know, kind of rushed to return, but I'd say a steady flow as they feel more comfortable. I really feel that as more, you know, Delaware County has been very successful in our vaccination rate of older adults, those that are 65 and over. The last statistic that I heard, I don't know, it may have been updated more recently, but was 85% of those aged 65 and over had received at least their first vaccine. And as they're vaccinated, more people are more comfortable coming in to the facility. So we saw a real kind of a turn, I would say probably about 3 weeks ago, we started to see our parking lot fill up. But yes, our pool tables are open, and you do have to schedule your time. So it's a little bit different than it was. You must have an appointment to come in to the building. Some of that is loosening up a little bit with these last restrictions that were modified. So
That's great.
we hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Proceed.
Resolution number 21-386, in the matter of approving a transfer of appropriation for the Recorder's Office.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Good morning. My name is Clancy Nelson. I'm the Chief Deputy Recorder for the Recorder's Office, and I am here to ask for that move of the appropriate funds from one budget item to another. So we're going to be asking a move of $3,500 from the object level 5001 for compensation to our object level 5201 to increase the amount of general supplies and equipment fund for our office. We've experienced a great growth rate as well. Revenue is up, filings are extremely high, so we're in need of some more supplies, labels, things like that we use on a daily basis. So we're just asking for that request.
Gee.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 21-386. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 21-387, in the matter of accepting the award of the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections subsidiary grant agreement for community-based correction programs, non-residential felony.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Good morning, Commissioner Merrill, Commissioner Lewis, Commissioner Benton, and Administrator Mr. Fromer. Mark Taglione on behalf of Adult Court Services. I am here to ask that we be permitted to accept grants from the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, Bureau of Community Sanctions, in the amount of $521,464 and $150,000 respectively, for a probation services grant in addition. So I humbly request that we be able to accept the funds to foster 2 intensive supervision officers, 1 electronic monitoring officer, and 2 pre-sentence investigator writers. And then the other grant for $150,000 will fund 1 officer for a 2-year period.
Mark, is it a new grant?
No, these are continuing
Okay.
grants. They're due for renewal
Okay.
every 2 years, so we're due.
Is this the same amount as in prior years?
Yes, I think there's the same amount. It went up a tiny bit. It's just up a little bit. This year, they're generally the same. They're the same amounts. The department's kept them at a flat rate, so they're the same amounts.
I'm curious, just kind of related, how has COVID impacted your workload?
Well, it's impacted our office. However, we've been in our office throughout the pandemic on a rotating schedule. We didn't close our office down because the courts didn't close down, so there was a need for our services. It hindered us for a while. The jail wasn't accepting any inmates from us, but under certain circumstances, so that kind of curtailed some of our supervision. But we have been in the office using alternative methods of meeting with offenders by video contacting them, phone calls, and then we have had them report in. We're still having them come in for random testing as necessitated by the courts, but I haven't seen too much difference other than probably the level of supervision we were able to provide during that time to protect our officers as well. But we're getting back to a more normalcy, if I can say that, as far as seeing our offenders on a weekly basis and so on and so forth, as necessitated by their level of supervision.
Anything else? Vote?
Vote on motion 21-387. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-388, in the matter of accepting the award of the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction subsidiary grant agreement for Delaware County Adult Probation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Any further discussion?
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're two
I
separate
think I'm gonna get
resolutions.
used to this now that I apologize. As I stated earlier, this one is for $150,000, and it funds 1 officer over a 2-year period. We received this grant. The Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction gave this grant out. They were not going to supervise community control offenders anymore. They wanted to supervise just PRC cases, which is post-release control or parole, as everyone knows it, and we accepted that grant to take back all the cases that they had under supervision that were our common pleas court cases, and we took them back, and as a result, we're offered the money to fund a probation officer position.
To oversee the cases then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Other questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 21-388. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Thanks.
time.
You do great work, Mark. It's a
Yeah.
tough job.
Thank you. I'll pass that along to staff.
Yeah,
Thank you very
please
much.
do.
Thanks.
We appreciate you as well.
Thank you.
Resolution number 21-389, in the matter of approving owner's agreement for Woodcrest Crossing Section 2 and Woodcrest Section 3.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lee Bodnar, Administrator for the County Engineer's Office. What you have before you for your consideration this morning is an owner's agreement for Crestwood Crossing, Section 2 and 3. This project is an MI Homes development located between Hyatt's and Clark Shaw in Liberty Township. Section 2 has 43 new lots, and Section 3 has 34 new lots, for a total of 77 new lots. Both agreements are bonded. If there's any further questions, be happy to supply the answers, or we'd ask for your consideration and approval.
Any questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 21-389. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-390, in the matter of approving right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So move.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Yes, Commissioners, what you have before you for your consideration are 7 utility connection permits. Nothing out of the ordinary exists for any of them, so we would ask for your consideration and approval.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 21-390. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-391, in the matter of approving an LPA Federal Local LET project agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of Delaware County, Ohio, the State of Ohio Department of Transportation for the project known as Del CR 13-5.02, project ID number 97431, and agreement number 26251.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Thank you, Commissioners. What you have before you is a pretty exciting project that you may have some prior knowledge of. It's to construct a line and widen, actually it's to widen and realign and construct a single-lane roundabout that would intersect the intersections of Worthington, Rome Corners, and Lewis Center roads. If you're familiar with that area, it's kind of a strange alignment. This will realign those roadways and place them all in conjunction with a single-lane roundabout. The interesting fact of this project is federal funding. The total project cost is $3.4 million, just over $3.4 million. Federal funding is going to account for $3.2 million of that project. Due to some creative blending of federal financing and federal funding, we've been able to come out, I think, further ahead than we could on our own, obviously. And through this agreement, this puts the county engineer's office in a position of oversight and administration of that project.
That's quite an intersection. I mean, it's more than an intersection, but the way the roads come together, it's, and we've had some accidents there too.
Absolutely, and whenever you have intersections like that, T intersections,
Yeah.
you do have accidents. Roundabouts account for a lot less a reduction in accidents.
That's great.
What's the timeline on this project?
There's been no timeline established at this point. You will have some information on it as it moves forward. Right now, we're in the pre-engineering phase.
Okay. Why this project? Why was there the level of federal support on this project?
I
do you
think it is attributed to the accidents that have been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, other questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 21-391. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Lee.
Resolution number 21-392, in the matter of adopting updates to certain Delaware County compensation management system wage charts.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Good morning, Dawn Houston, Deputy Administrator, and I'm recommending your approval of the resolution here today of our wage charts. These charts are for non-union employees as well as for JFS union employees, since they follow our county compensation plan. This is a 3% increase to the maximum of the wage charts, and we would not be moving any of the employees within the wage charts, just incremental increases to help us remain competitive in the marketplace and assisting with employee retention. So if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Just a clarification, I was going on vacation last week, I would have called you and called up. We talked before I left, the 3% is a result of going back 2 years?
Correct,
And-
yes.
Go ahead.
We did, actually 3.
Okay.
And it's a little bit less than what the 3 years would have
And
been.
it's based on the formula we discussed?
Yes,
And the second part of that was the checks we were writing would go away by increasing the range?
that's
is that-
correct.
okay.
We'll include that in the resolution for wage adjustments for 2022.
Okay. Just, I apologize, I could have caught you before, but I wasn't.
No,
able
that's
to.
okay.
Just want to confirm
No
we were
problem.
talking about the same thing. Other questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 21-392. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, it brings us to administrative reports, and I know that since I wasn't here last week, you've got a lot to talk about.
I do have a lot to talk about. Rory McIlroy won for the first time in 18 months. I don't know if you saw that, Commissioner Brenton. No, the I had a call with President of Otterbein last week, John Comerford, and he is approaching Delaware County about their program where they like to partner with businesses. They've already been able to execute an agreement with Franklin County, and they're talking to the city of Columbus. They basically have realized that 85% of their graduates want to stay in the Columbus area, so they're making connections with, large employers and corporations and providing some of the university benefits to tuition and things like that. So just had the initial kickoff meeting and going to be getting more information about that. So it sounds like it could be a real win-win in a very strategic partnership for the county as we, like to find partners to recruit young talent in the different fields and be able to then secure them as employees when they look for full-time employment. So pretty exciting, and much more to come about that.
Will it be an internship type thing at first? Or?
We still need to, I think it would be internships, but also working hand in hand with our human resources department on job postings, things of that nature. But there would be pretty significant tuition reductions or grants for employees or dependents of county employees. So.
Oh, great. Boy.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, Otterbein has really moved forward on their entrepreneur center. I forget the name of it exactly.
The Point.
The Point, yeah. They had maxed out they had expanded their existing footprint, they maxed it out, and now they're acquiring some additional land and building more office space to house more entrepreneurs in partnership with the college, so university. So again, and they're about 100 yards south of the Delaware County line, so they're real close, and it's great to have an active relationship with a really nice representative of higher education, very close to our county and working with us so closely.
And I believe Dr. Comerford does live in our county.
Yeah, and John does live in our county. He's been
does.
to a number of our events and very
Yes.
supportive of our initiatives, so it's great that we can work with them and encourage collaboration and see where it goes.
I believe there's probably going to be other opportunities as we look down the road that we could work
Exactly.
with Otterbein. I think because they aren't in our county, sometimes we overlook them, but they are integral part of Westerville, and part of Westerville is in our county, and I think it's an asset that we need to work with as much as possible. Other questions or comments? What else do you have for us?
Nothing. That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Benton.
Just a couple things. Had worked the executive committee on Thursday. Things are okay there. I was going to mention the Moody's AAA rating, but Auditor Keitza came and filled us in more detail on that. And again, that's great news. So that's all I got.
Okay. Commissioner Lewis.
We had a housing coalition meeting and talked about the transitional housing opportunity for funding that Representative Balderson is sponsoring. It's now in the House Appropriations Committee. The amount is $750,000. So we shall see. It's transitional housing for 18 to 24-year-olds, and there is a real problem in Delaware County with some youth who are out of foster home. I mean, out of that foster. When they're 18, then the families can push them out the door. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but sometimes, frankly, it does. And so therefore, these kids have nowhere to live so often. And then for other reasons, don't have anywhere to live. And our superintendent of Delaware City Schools was telling us at this meeting, too, that, I mean, many very tough stories, and really, really unfortunate that they're in school and then they just don't come back. And so, and there's no way of tracing where they've gone. And even, she gave one example of a young man, who was actually sleeping outside of Willis. So, at the same time, United Way has taken the lead on this locally. And so they are trying to raise money for the project through the Delaware Foundation and through other private entities. So we shall see what happens. We won't know about the $750,000 for a few months yet. So, but very, very worthwhile project. And that's all I have.
Okay. I really don't have anything to add. I am going to kind of outline what's going to happen the rest of the day, because this is a little bit out of the ordinary. We're going to vote to go into executive session here in just a moment, and then we will come out of the executive recess until 1:30 because we have a viewing. And then after the viewing, we will go back into executive session to cover appointments. So just want to kind of outline since it's a little bit out of the norm so everybody's on the same page. With that, it's motion to go in executive.
Resolution number 21-393, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment, discipline, compensation of a public employee or public official.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
made by Commissioner Lewis, second by Commissioner Benton. Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 21-393. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye?
We are now in the executive session.